Antarctic International Science Foundation Study Log, number 418.
Dr. Levinson reporting. There are still some, even after all of these years, that don't see the value of Project Cerberus. Even after all the setbacks, all the mocking, all the doubt, our breakthroughs continue to make it all worth it. I had started to lose some hope, some sense of vindication after Subject 47 broke containment. I began to give in to some of the fears of my fellow researchers. But the data we gained after 47's recapture, and the ability to closely monitor Subject 48's infection, it was so invaluable. We still don't know how long this black goo has been alive, or around, but to have insight into the primordial nature of its existence, its survival, it's nothing short of a miracle. I've been informed that we'll be getting in some more data recovered from Fort Byrd. Who knows what the future will bring? But I, for one, remain optimistic and steadfast in our work here. End log.
Antarctic International Science Foundation Study Log, number 427.
Dr. Levinson reporting. Now that I've finally combed through all of the Fort Byrd data, I feel I am left with more questions than answers. Dr. Staton and I have been working closely together on all of this, and I must admit it's refreshing to hear her perspective on our findings. Particularly, her theories on the connection between the recovered UAP and the black goo. Some of the team may call me crazy, and a victim to conspiracy theories. But with every conversation between Taylor and myself, I find the connection between the two to be no mere coincidence. The question remains, what were they trying to do here, on Earth? Seed our planet with life? Could they be our creators? So much to learn. With every day that passes, I only grow more curious about what we can uncover here at Low Island. End log.
Antarctic International Science Foundation Study Log, number 536.
They say they're sending a team to extract us, but I don't know if I believe them. Since the outbreak, paranoia has run rampantly through the base, eroding both trust and worse, sanity. We've been doing our best to ensure our work here is not lost in the case of our demise, at least. So much data, so much dedication and sacrifice. I can't let it all be for nothing. We've been luckier than some of the other outposts, at least. I've heard that things have gone silent at the med bay and the silo, and since the airport has been contaminated, our only hope at survival comes with whoever they send to save both us and our work here. For their sake, and therefore our sake, I've been compiling what we know about the different types of mutations the black goo virus seems to cause. I hope to be finished with that data by sunlight. The nights here are long, and they were never fun, but now, all we can do is pray to make it one more day. Back to work. End log.
Antarctic International Science Foundation Study Log, number 537.
We've received no responses from the drilling crew, the team at the shelter, and I fear the oil plant will be next. I hope whoever they send knows what the hell they're doing, because if not, God save us all. I'm gonna leave this log on my terminal before we evacuate, in the hopes that whatever recovery team gets here can make use of our findings. These are the mutations and infection types we have observed thus far on Low Island. It all begins with the Arachnoid Cyst. Turns out not everyone was aware that term had already been coined as a medical condition, but I really can't blame them. It's an excellent descriptor of this organism. The security team has taken to calling them head spiders, but Dr. Taylor Staton and I have given them a nickname, Ghoulings, as a reference to their origin and explicit ties to the black goo virus. The Ghoulings, while not essential to infection, are definitely the most effective vector of transmission. Their ability to near instantaneously bond with the host, forcing not only a mutation but also a coexistence, is unlike anything we have ever encountered before. On their own, they are fast, lethal, but ultimately weak. In prior containment breaches, it took only a single shot of a revolver to terminate. Much like the other mutations I'll get into, it seems like fire is also one of the better ways to deal with them. Subjects like 47 have also been capable of seemingly producing new ghoulings, so when dealing with any infected or mutated organisms, exercise extreme caution. Even if the host is dead, the ghouling could very well remain active. The security teams have reported seeing mushroom-headed creatures, which we've taken to calling Watchers based on our available data. They have a large, round, saucer-shaped head covered in multiple eyeballs. They seem to be especially observant creatures, as the teams have reported that the Watchers seem to mimic their very movements, like some bizarre children's game. You move, they move. You stand still, they stand still. It seems that all of those eyes can be a weakness as well, though, as we've had some rare reports that threatening them with weapons has caused them to flee, although only ever temporarily. The one thing all of these mutated forms have in common is a singular desire to infect and kill other life forms. The next form of mutation we have observed has been referred to as a husk, although some on the team have taken to calling them fast learners due to their observant and seemingly intelligent nature. This intelligence of theirs makes them curious and a standout amongst the other forms of infected, as they seem to retain some base level of intelligence from their pre-infected selves. They've been observed watching us from afar, seemingly gathering intelligence like an enemy combatant in the field during a war, only to then strike when deemed the right time. This behavior has proven difficult to combat, so I wish you all the best if you ever have the misfortune of encountering one of them. They've also been known to vary in appearance, unlike the other forms of mutation. Whether they can change their form, or the mutation itself that causes Husks is a more volatile one, remains unknown. Not all of the post-infection mutated creatures share signs of intelligence, though, and that is made especially clear with what we've taken to calling psychos. Although the guys with the guns like to call them two-heads once they've been up close and personal with them. These creatures are completely animalistic, and devoid of any sense of strategy or fear. Once they have you in their sights, they will rush at you on all fours to close the distance and then attack savagely and relentlessly until either you or the creature has died. Speaking from experience, we have lost many of our security team and researchers to these monsters. If you see one, whatever you do, don't miss. Showing some signs of intelligence, or perhaps lack thereof, is what the researchers and I have begun to call the Meek. Although some of the team, especially those with Native American ancestry, have been calling them Wendigos based on their appearance. The reason that we call them the Meek, though, is their odd behavior. Based on all of our available evidence, they seem to freeze up when eye contact is made, but most importantly, maintained. They even go as far as to cover their faces, almost as if some part of them is still human and ashamed at what they've become. When threatened, though, the Meek will abandon this seemingly shy behavior, and instead, act in an aggressive and brutal nature. They are very deadly, and if you ever encounter them, I would advise to play it safe. Don't look away. The last humanoid mutation is what we call the Stalkers, for a plain and simple reason. They tend to follow and watch their prey, waiting for the proper moment to strike, usually with fatal efficiency. You may not immediately see this creature, but if you hear its horrible screeching, it may already be too late. They are incredibly capable killing machines, and they've been known to take significant effort to put down. There are two other, more unique and uncommon mutation types that we have discovered here, both similar and yet at the same time vastly different. The leeches, as we call them, are around a meter long, and surprisingly passive compared to the other creatures infected with the black goo virus. When surprised, they have been observed slithering away as fast as they can, seemingly afraid of humans. Although, when cornered, they have been known to lunge at both researchers and security forces alike. While not as lethal as the other mutations, they are still carriers of the black goo virus, and therefore, any interaction with them could prove lethal if they transmit the infection to you. As always, exercise caution. The final mutation type is one that defies a lot of what we know about science, like something out of an old kaiju movie from the 60s. We don't have a good name for this one, because one can only really describe it as it is. The giant worm, hundreds of feet long at the largest, and capable of launching themselves upwards of 50 feet into the air. These monstrosities were even said to be capable of launching themselves from under the ice and destroying a helicopter mid-air on its way out of the airport. Their presence will be known to all in their vicinity, though, as their underground movements trigger seismic activity, and their awful low growl pierces through the ice as if it weren't there. All I can say about them is, if the ice shakes beneath you, and you hear its call, all you can do is run and pray. I hope this data can assist you, and I hope you are able to save us. We're not bad people. We did what we did to try and better humanity, but like the story of Icarus, we flew too close to the sun. We tried to contain and study what we never understood in the first place. Please, please help us. Please don't let this all be for nothing. I'm sorry, Hughes, Benson, Jacobs, Taylor. I'm so sorry. Forgive me. Please.